Are we going straight in? Oh, look at this.
Hello.
Mate,
Hey,
Conrad,
James.
how are you doing? Do you want to just like, do you want to do a speech to the camera?
Hello world, my name is Conrad, and I'm working at Vision Pro, and I work in this every day. That's my intro.
I love it.
I'm
Okay,
love
sit
to
down.
chat with you.
Amazing. So is this enhancing your experience? Are you watching the stream live whilst you're on it to check that you look really good, or what's going on?
I am doing a spatial recording, so then later I can watch this and
Okay.
feel all the feelings I'm feeling right now.
And will they be as real when you watch them back for a second time?
They will feel, yeah, very, very real, immersive. I will have this kind of, this feeling that this moment in time, it's kind of like a memory, reliving it.
I love that, right? So actually, this is not the first time that, oh no, I love it, keep it on. Like, this is brilliant. You're great. Stay. You're great. You're the unless you prefer, whatever you prefer.
Okay, now I can you can admire this thing here.
Because it's not, again, that's not the first, this is not something you've done specially for the show. You use this like all the time. I know that you've been in one of our events where you've like also kind of like recorded like a little like something, I guess. You gave an impassioned speech, I kind of like remember.
Optimistic about technology and about us creating the future and not trying to predict it.
That's interesting. There's two interesting things there. One, you said about being optimistic. I think we should talk about that. And the second thing was more like creating it versus predicting it. Mm-hmm. Let's start with optimistic. Why are you optimistic?
Because because we've been always creating these tools, and I don't know the future, but human beings are tool makers, and will continue making new tools that will transform us again, as they have been, and we'll continue doing that. That is my kind of hope and vision, and that's my bet. And so I'm excited. I think there's like a lot of like literature on this and like history of this kind of thinking. Like that's what really gets me excited, and that's what I resonate with. And I'm like, to me, that's what makes sense, and that's what I like subscribe to.
And this is a tool.
Yes, this is this tool that does something which no other platform does, which is connects the hand with the digital space, like your windows, but also three-dimensional space. But so there's a lot of new things, new doors can be opened here for the human and computer interface.
That's super. So I've been around VR for, I think I probably got to have my first VR experience, and I can actually remember it. This is probably like 2013, and I got to go on a roller coaster, and it made me. I have like vertigo, whatever it is, and even being on the things in 2013 made my legs feel like I was at heights because of the kind of like the roller coaster on the thing, right? It also made me feel a little bit ill, blah, blah, blah. And technology's coming a long way, but I guess like I'm not a big birthday person. And a couple months ago, or whatever it was, one of the people here took me out and forced me to celebrate my birthday, and they also gave me a present. And they gave me a present that they all created using one of these Vision Pros. And I think it is pretty much my favorite present that I've ever had. Thank you so much for doing that, particularly Valerie and Venus for, I think, like kind of like organizing it, bringing sort of like device and creating that. But basically everyone.
What was the present?
So basically, I mean, we had this dinner, and then whilst we were eating this dinner, like everyone would like get up, and all I could see is like people like walking around with the thing, right? And then at the end of the dinner, they gave me the goggles. So basically, everyone had just like written or just like created like this like piece of art, I guess, like together, and it just had like a little tiny messages and drawings and what it is, and I could like go in and like be amongst all of the stuff and yeah, look at it and see it. It was very, very nice. I don't know quite how to describe it better than that, but thank you all for doing that. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Written notes.
Yeah, and just like and drawings, whatever, and just like I was using. I don't know what the app was that was using it, but it's like I now have this like 3D asset that I can sort of like look at, and I'm assuming I can probably plug it into there and then like experience it. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you walk around with it and you can see it from every angle and you can like be in it. So everywhere you look is just this like, these like cool messages for people. I enjoyed that at least.
To capture that moment in time where every decision about what they wrote to where is preserved for you to walk around in.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's super cool. I really appreciate that. And again, it's just a good example, right, of like a tool. Yeah, it's a good example. What's another tool that you're excited about? Like, what are you working on whilst you're here? Like, what are you up to day to day?
I'm working towards like building stuff for here that allows us to interact with like code and more data and a program with this and with agents. Through the first step is like building a platform for launching and managing agents, like OpenClaw agents, and using all the skills and like common data that it can like manage, and so kind of replace building your own personal team of agents.
Yeah, because actually, what many people may not realize watching that, right, is these you can see through. So when you have the goggles on, you can actually see around, right? It doesn't obscure your kind of like vision, right? And then what it does is it puts on, it gives you, it gives you a screen on top of real life, right? And then you can start to interact with that screen, right? And I guess so you're thinking about building something which allows you to launch agents within that sort of like interface, and you're building sort of interfaces for people to start coding and building apps from a visual interface that they're sort of interacting with their hands and their eyes. Is that sort of correct?
Yes, because the software will be generated just like kind of instantly and on the fly, dynamically for us to use. So things like three-dimensional spaces and visualizations of data will be a lot more dynamically made possible for you to have that are like the cost of it's going down, so that everybody you can costs a lot less to generate the code.
Yeah, I agree with exactly what you said, and this is why, again, I don't know if you heard the previous comment or maybe a couple of conversations ago where I'm really thinking about like, what is the interface, and then these agents that are doing tasks for us, and what are the things that they're going to use, right? But that interface is super interesting, right? OpenAI spent $6 billion like buying Johnny Ives, like potential interface kind of like company. There's lots of people that are working on kind of like smarter sort of like glasses. Talk more about, I guess, like how you see us interact. Right now, people are with their laptops, right? And they're creating interaction where you pull out your phone and you're dealing with stuff. Like, how do you see that changing? How are we going to be interacting with AI?
Primarily like using voice as an input, and then seeing like code generate, like visualized in 3D space. You can walk around it, and like websites and data. So like imagine like being in the Matrix, and where you see like that scene with Morpheus, and all this world around is created around you. So you can visualize certain like scenes, and also visualize like data dynamically. Like that's just having a data analyst and generating all the graphs and charts for you that are most relevant to you right at that moment. So that agility of like getting the right data, presenting it to you, the code to do that will be dynamically generated on the fly, and that's like what we're seeing with like Claude Code Skills.
No, I agree with everything that you're saying. And it's sort of interesting, again, the first point about, I think like the current main way that people interact with technology, right, is that they use their eyes and they interact with their hands on these sort of like devices, right? Mm-hmm. And that's like a touch kind of like related, right? What you're saying, right, is that we're moving to actually like more like a conversational interaction with this sort of like technology, where you're moving from typing commands to talking commands. And I guess at the minute, right, like 99% of commands are typed as opposed to spoken, but we're going to flip, I think, probably to the other way around, like 99% sort of like spoken, 1% sort of like typed. That's sort of interesting, right? That move to sort of like to kind of like to listing in terms of what the device is and how that kind of like interaction works. And then on top of that, there's like a move from like these like static sites that you're used to looking at all the time to, again, like these things at real time, which are generated like completely bespoke to you as an individual, that like no one else has ever seen this interface before, because it's like designed exactly for you and what you need and what's going on with you kind of like right now, right? They're two very big changes you've just talked about. Basically, I agree with both of those. What I'm not so sure about, right, is like, are people really going to be looking at code? Like, it feels like just that's all just going to get obfuscated, right? It's like it's just going to be all under the hood. Like, do you really need to build an interface to like look at code? Like, is that going to be? Yeah, tell me more about that.
It's to understand how the software works, it gives you like greater power over it, and like understanding the basic principles gives you a lot of power. And yeah, a lot of it will be like abstracted, but you still like have to know what's possible. And I think like the coding education, understanding what a computer is, how it works, what are the basic elements of it, what it's doing. You have to understand that to really, and you get to know the kind of history, how we got here, and to really be able to, yes, to use it to its fullest potential, and really to build like the next, build on top of it, build the next whatever is needed, like the next evolution of it. And then particularly what Vision Pro does is like you have the hand gestures, which allow you to interact with this dynamic UI even more. So the evolution of humanity has been like the mind and the hand working together. And so Vision Pro is that like a medium that allows us to quickly like create things more with the digital space.
The easiest way to think about this is like Minority Report. No?
Yeah.
All the sort of stuff that's happening like on the fly, right?
It's like to manipulate the tools to create things in space. Probably designing robots in 3D space and programs.
But what's the same? Because like when I use this stuff, like it's okay for like 10, 15 minutes, and then it becomes a little bit uncomfortable. Like again, I still get really like looking at sort of the screen versus kind of like real life, like, and yeah. How is this? You know, we don't want to walk around with this. Like, how's that all going to change? Like, what's going on?
I've had it since for a while. I didn't use it, but it's very helpful. It's not. I got used to it, like wearing it for like hours. Now I can wear it for hours the whole day, and because I have this great, beautiful, like curved monitor, and that's like a lot better than being hunched over a laptop with this tiny monitor and being like bent over. So it feels really good, and I have this good posture, so it feels like I want to keep staying in and have this good experience in it.
So what's the first, again, just let's make it really simple again. What's the first thing you're building that someone can use? Like what is it that we can come and use? Is there something now, like a book prototype or something?
Yeah, you can launch an OpenClaw instance in 100 minutes at augmi.world, augmi.world.
augmi.world, and then they can launch an OpenClaw instance immediately through this interface. What do you think? I mean, again, I'm so naive, right? This is us. I don't know, right? You go on there and you type in the browser, and then it will load up, and then you're on the website on here, right, in the interface. Is that right?
Yes. Right now it's only on the web, but I'm working on the Vision Pro version as well, where you can access the.
And then that would be like an app, an independent app that would then like be able to like launch stuff. Then you have a much more kind of like bespoke interface as opposed to just like looking at a web like screen on the thing, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. So, what was it? Organ.world?
Right, augmi.world.
Okay, and you can go there and kind of like use that. And again, this is it. So like you're working on this here. I see you living and breathing this sort of like every day. How have you found your time here? Like again, were you part of the base batches? Is that how you ended up kind of like here? Was that your way in?
I've been doing a lot of Ethereum hackathons and conferences, and so probably 90% of my wardrobe is like Ethereum hackathon merch.
Yep.
So it's like just one of those.
Nice. Good, because two's early, because we've had like base batches have done stuff here, right? Like, and like base are actually opening, they've stolen some of our, no, that's the wrong way to put it. Like, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm looking forward to doing more work with you, but base, we're working on them here, right? They're taking like space at school, and they've been a really big supporter of us kind of like already. They've done a whole bunch of events here. But yeah, okay, base batches too. You didn't come with them to OG for kind of like for that. Well, okay, so people know where to find you. Any parting words before we get some of this cue on?
Follow me on Twitter at Conrad_@, follow my journey doing this.
I appreciate it. I look forward. I think we should get you on in like some time and like somehow try and help people understand the experience. you're having through these eyes. But thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for bringing the
Cool.
tech.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Oh, straight through.